This is a weird time to be alive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting weirder too. I mean, it is getting weirder, don't
It
you
is.
think?
Oh, certainly. Well, it's highlighted on your show. You know, you've kind of exposed a lot of it to America.
Yeah, you know, every year in the summer we kind of work to reinvent ourselves about how we can tell our stories better and all that sort of thing, and we really focus on what our viewers are asking about. And I have to tell you, this year the questions really changed because we still deal with human functioning, marriage and family and all that. But in addition to that, the questions we got over the summer this year started really changing. Like, are we going to make it? Are we going to survive? What are we safe? Are our kids safe? Are they safe in school? What are they being taught in school? Should we be going down there and seeing what they're teaching them? What's happening as far as values in this country? I mean, people started asking different questions, and so I changed everything. I used to have that studio audience out in the bleachers out there. I moved everybody on stage, and we're just having a focus group every day. I got like 110 people up there in a focus group, and letting them talk and ask questions because they're really concerned. And I just said, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to start talking about the social issues along with everything else, because if you even took psychology in high school, or you took Psych 101, one of the first fundamental principles you learned was you don't reward bad behavior. Right?
Right.
You don't reward bad behavior. I mean, the world is a meritocracy. And we've somehow lost that. All of a sudden, we're paying people not to work more than they get if they work. And then we say, what happened to the supply chain? Well, you paid everybody not to work. That's what happened to the supply chain. And I'm stunned that we're running this country in so many areas where we're just violating the most fundamental psychological principles that you could ever imagine. And I'm watching that happen, and I say, I just can't be silent about this anymore. So I'm talking about it.
What do you think is the root cause of the shift?
I think it's been happening gradually, but like everything, it's like if you start rolling a rock downhill, it starts getting faster and faster and faster. And I think it's happened for a lot of reasons, but I think we've got a whole generation of kids that are really smart, by the way. These kids are smart, but I think they've started living on their devices. It's kind of like along about 2007 or 8, like it seems like airplanes flew over the country and just started dropping smartphones, and everybody's head went from here to here. I mean, think about it. When you look, you go anywhere, go to the mall, go just anywhere there's a group, and what do you see in their hands? You see a device. We didn't grow up with devices. When I started Dr. Phil 21 years ago, the first text hadn't been sent. There were no social media platforms. None of that stuff was going on. Technology's great. Listen, I love technology. But we've got generations that started living virtually. They're watching people live their lives instead of living their own lives. And that changed the metrics on everything. Think about that. TikTok, Instagram, all of this, you're watching other people live their lives instead of living your own. And that changed everything.
That seems like one factor, but that wouldn't explain this abandonment of meritocracy.
Well, that is just one factor. You're exactly right. But there's something else that I think has come along with it, and we've got a generation of what I call concierge parents that are running interference for their kids. And look, the way you learn about yourself, the way you make attributions to yourself about yourself, is the same way you make attributions about other people. You have people that you have opinions of, right? You got people, friends or staff, that you watch what they do and you say, he or she is a go-to person. I know what they do. I can count on them. They're going to be there every time. They're going to show up on time. They're going to get everything ready. They're going to be buttoned up. They're like clockwork, right? And you attribute that to them because you watch what they do. If they're problem solvers, you know, hey, go get Becky in here. Go get Jeff in here. They are problem solvers. You know that because you've watched them do it, and you make that attribution to them. That's the same way we learn about ourselves. You watch ourselves master certain tasks, overcome certain things. And if we're cheated out of that experience, we don't learn that about ourselves. And if you've got parents that are out there smoothing out all the bumps for you, then you don't learn that you can smooth out your own bumps. You don't learn that you can overcome obstacles. You don't learn that you can master your environment. And so as a result, you don't have the self-esteem. You don't have the self-worth. You don't make the attributions that, hey, I can do this shit. And when you don't believe you can do this shit, then you start saying, well, I don't want a meritocracy. I want everybody to just kind of go along the same. And so we started seeing in the universities, you start seeing kids that are complaining that something the professor said hurt their feelings. It upset them. So they start going to the dean. They start going to the department head and saying, that professor said things that upset me. And we've had more professors disciplined, suspended, or dismissed in the last 10 or 15 years than we've had since McCarthyism. Because kids are going in there and saying, that hurt my feelings. He offended me and said things that were offensive. And so they complain about it, and they get listened to, and so the professors, and, you know, some of them are assholes, I'm sure. Some of them are offensive by any standard, but it's out of control. And these kids are sensitive to the point when I was in college, when campuses were where you went to hear the other side, right?